Hey guys, what's up? My name is Bharat, you're watching iGyaan. Apple has announced and shown off the new iOS 16, and while most of the features have been shown off, I wanted to get in depth and show you some of the things in detail before the public beta comes out next month and iOS 16 eventually becomes available in the fall later this year, possibly with the launch of their next iPhone. So let's quickly take a deep dive into some of the features and talk about some of the most interesting ones here in this video. So I've got an iPhone 13 Pro over here, and this has the new iOS 16 beta. Let's quickly go through basically the main feature, the main highlight of the update, which is the lock screen. Now this is something that people have wanted for a while and Apple has finally given it. And you have a whole host of options when it comes to choosing what kind of lock screen. So first and foremost, from the lock screen over here, you can long press on the lock screen to go into this menu, wherein which you can choose from your lock screens, or you can tap and create a new lock screen by clicking the plus icon. Over here, you have a whole host of featured lock screens, but then you can also choose from weather and astronomy. So you have a few options over there. Then you also have the emoji. We'll get in depth into all of these right now. And then you also have the collections, which is basically the wallpapers that you saw previously, tied up with some of the effects that you can have. And then you also have a color lock screen, which gives you some gradient effects, and then you can customize the colors. If you look over here, you can see that you do have all of those options listed out over here. And if you go into photos, for example, it can allow you to choose some photos from your library to set up as your lock screen. But you also have the ability to create a photo shuffle. So then you can choose a bunch of photographs and create a automatically switching lock screen. So every time you lock, unlock, you'll get 8 different photographs. So let's try that one. So let's pick one photograph here, and then if I say add, this is the kind of effect that it will create. Now you can see that over here, it is automatically decided that this face is important, and it has put the numbers in a faded sort of format on the face. So you can continue to see a lot more detail on the face. And the phone will do this automatically with machine learning. You don't have the ability to select an area and say that, okay, this is how you'll customize it. This will automatically happen, and it does it really well for some of the images. I'll demonstrate that. Let's go back into the photo shuffle and I'll continue previewing it. So let's say I took those, and you can see here, and then you can also choose from a black and white option and sort of again add or remove more images. And then when you say done, it'll go ahead and create that lock screen for you. So right now in the beta, you have to go and select it after you've created it. So here I've created it, and you can see it will do that. So now after every few minutes or so, it'll automatically change the lock screen. Now you can customize how frequently you want it. So you can say the shuffle frequency, you can have it change hourly, you can have it change on wake, and you can also have it change on tap. So if I do on tap and say done over here, it'll save it. And once I lock this again, every time I tap it, it'll change the wallpaper. So that's a cool feature to have. If you enjoy looking through your images, every time you unlock your screen, you can easily do that over here. Another one which is going to be really popular, I feel, is the emoji lock screen. So over here, you can see that you get this emoji wallpaper. Now this is created by the iPhone using the emojis, and you have a few options here. You can see that we have a starting off with a small grid, a medium grid, a large grid, and then you have these concentric rings, and then you have a spiral. Now over here, you can also have your own emojis. So you don't have to choose the emojis that are provided. You can have whatever emojis you want, whatever your little heart desires. So you can have whatever emojis you like in this over here, and then you can again customize the grid and choose whatever you want. But more importantly, you can also switch out the background. So you can choose whatever color you like, and then you can also increase the intensity of that color or decrease it as per your requirement here as well. So that's another one that's going to be really popular. But let's move on and show you some more. The other aspect is going to be a collections aspect. So you can come here into the collections and you can choose from some of the wallpapers that are pre-included with the lock screen. And then here you can see that it automatically creates this wave effect where it'll put the number behind if you want that. If you don't want it, you can choose a traditional wallpaper effect over here as well. And then once you do this in whatever lock screen, whether the emoji one, the photos one, whatever you want to choose, You can also customize everything from here as well. So for example, here I can have the time and the date, and I can also have my upcoming events posted over here. I can remove the upcoming events if I don't want them, and I can put, for example, my workout information over there. I can also put a sunrise or sunset information over there, and there are some other different elements that can be added. If I'm looking at stocks, for example, I can have my favorite stock over there, and then I can also have some weather information. So if I want to have rain information over there, I can have that as well. So that customization is available and will help you do a bunch of things. So let's look at this one. So in this, I can have the photograph in the background, but like I said, I can have my clock and calendar. In the calendar, I can add some basic information if I want to. I can even have my battery information in there if I want to. But more importantly, I can go into the time over here, and then you can see I have a whole host of fonts that I can choose from, and then some color options over here. Again, I can choose the intensity of the color from here, and then I can go and also choose a custom color if I so choose to. So for example, if I want to put black and keep it like stealthy, I can do that here as well. I can also change the intensity or the level of the depth of the black in this over here as well. Now again, you do have a widget bar which can be also customized with a few points of information. So you can add a few widgets. So if I want to say I want to put my phone battery information over there, I can do that. And then I can also put a clock over there. I can choose a longer clock. So if I put two widgets over here, for example, then it sort of fills out the screen. Again, because I'm choosing a sort of a light gray effect over here, it makes it less visible. But if I choose a different color, you'll be able to see that a little bit better over there, something that pops out. You can customize it a lot more than what you could previously, and that is something that people will like a lot. Now we do have another one, which is this one, which is the Earth or the Astronomy one. Now in this, it automatically geolocates you. Let me quickly show you how you add this. So you come here, and this is the Weather and Astronomy one. So you can choose any of these aspects over here for the Weather and Astronomy one. And you can see that this is the Earth icon. And this will automatically geolocate you. So wherever you are, whether you want this zoomed in effect or whether you want this zoomed out effect, you can also choose a moon phase, slightly more detailed moon phase. So you go in much deeper. And then you also have the entire solar system. And this position will change as per the time of the day and all of that. So these are not only interactive, but they're also live updating. So if I choose the zoomed out one and I set it as the lock screen and I come to this, it should automatically update the location, which it hasn't for some reason in this one. But now you can see that it is showing India on the map. So maybe it has updated. So you can see now that it has updated and the map does show India in the location. So it does center on the area that you're in, which is really cool. I really like that. And once I customize it and save it in this zoomed effect, I'll say done over here, and it'll save it. You'll see that it also zooms into India over here. And again, this is the beta version. So they're clearing it out and making it a little more crisp as far as the graphics are concerned, but it looks pretty good. And then when you swipe up, it moves a little bit out of the way. And then you do have the ability over here, if you go into wallpapers in the settings panel, you can choose the home screen wallpaper, and then you can turn on the blur effect as well. So when you're logged in and when you're in your home screen, the background will not disturb you at all. And you can have whatever image you want on the lock screen, and it will translate to the home screen, and you can have that blurred out, or you can choose whatever image you want for the home screen like you could previously as well. Now, before I close up the lock screen, I have one more to show you. So on this, there is one more that I can show you here. So if you do have a portrait shot, in that you do get a lot more information and ability. So let's choose this image over here. So you'll see that it takes a little while for it to load because it is processing. And then you can see in this image, it does sort of cut out the time a little bit more because it is trying to put some emphasis on the subject in this image, which is this handsome man over here. And with that, you do have some other customizations as well. So you can swipe to the right and you can see the studio effect, which looks absolutely brilliant. And it adds a lot more depth and detail to the image. And it makes it look kind of futuristic, very nice effect over here. And then you also have this black and white effect, which instantly transforms the lock screen into this really nice sort of artsy lock screen, which also I really like. Again, you can customize the font, you can continue to change those things as you want. You do lose out on the widgets on this, but you can add them, and then the whole effect changes because then it'll put it in front of the face. So if you don't want the widgets, it'll go behind the face, but if you want the widgets, it'll stay in front of the face. And here you can see that you can have a color backdrop, and so it sort of puts a layer of color, and then you can also customize the color that goes in the background. So if I want to do a purple effect over here, if I want to do a sort of blue effect over here, I can choose whatever color I like. I can have this green tint in the background, and then you can see how it looks. You can also save it. So for example, I'd like to save it on the studio effect. I'd say done, and then I tap on it, and that's my new lock screen. So pretty cool when it comes to that. Again, if the face is interfering with the home screen, you can turn on the blur effect over there, and then you can have a really nice visible home screen, whereas your lock screen becomes this really cool, futuristic looking, pretty nice lock screen. So pretty happy with that. Really cool lock screen effects. There's a lot more to go through in this, but of course, we're not going to try and cover everything. Just wanted to give you a quick idea of what all you can do. But as you can see, there's a whole host of things over here, and then you do have some pre-made ones. Again, you can see how they're playing with the colors and the effects over here. And another thing that I sort of forgot to mention completely is that if I come over here, you can see that while you do have the ability to change fonts, you also have the ability to change languages for time. So now I can have it in Devanagari because it detects that I'm in India. But I'm sure there are other languages also available based on what all languages you've selected in your system settings. So you can have the time in a localized language as well, which I feel is also pretty cool. So in the lock screen, as you can see on the bottom of every one of these lock screens, we do have a focus button over here. And with that, you can set up different types of focus modes for different types of lock screens. Say, for example, I have this one for sleep. And say, for example, I have maybe this one for do not disturb. And I can have different focus settings within my focus app as well. And then every time I switch to this lock screen, it'll automatically put my phone and all the features in there to the do not disturb focus. This is a quick way to change between your focus modes as well. So I can switch between a do not disturb to a sleep, and then I can also go back to a normal lock screen and completely come out of the focus modes as well. You also have something called focus filters, in which you can add a certain group of people for each type of focus. So for example, if you have a work focus, then you can sort of put all your colleagues in that work focus. So all your messages, emails, and calls will only be allowed from those people, and the rest of those messages and calls and emails will not be shown to you until you switch to a different type of focus. This is also useful for a lot of people who want to sort of segregate. Here you can see I can add filter, and what kind of filter I want to add is also available here. I can also have system filters here, so I can automatically turn on low power mode. I can automatically turn on dark mode, and then I have calendar, Safari, mail, and messaging. These can be filtered out as per your requirement for that particular kind of focus. So on the bottom here, you can see the live activities. So if you have music playing, or you have things like a timer, if you have, say, an Uber arriving, all of that will be shown here. I can dismiss them. I can interact with them from here. I can play, pause the music from here as well. So these live activities are customizable, and third-party developers do have the ability to add functions for live activities, and then users have the ability to turn on or off live activities for each and every app as well. So that also gives you some more granular control over your live activities. So now let's quickly talk about the other big aspect that a lot of people that use iPhones use is iMessage, and there are a few updates to messages. Not taking too much time over here, you can send a message that you might screw up. So if I screw up a message, I can send the message, but then I can also edit the message and say, okay, I wanted to say this, and then I can send the message. So it'll show that the message is edited at the bottom over here. And if I don't want to send the message, if I'm going through multiple chats in my messaging window and I realize that I've sent this message to the wrong person, I can completely remove this message by saying undo send, and it'll sort of delete the message and it'll say you unsent a message, and it'll notify the other person as well. Now this feature, both editing as well as the undo send feature, is available up to 15 minutes from sending the message. Once those 15 minutes have elapsed, you are not able to edit or undo send the message, and that is a feature that is built in. Now this 15 minutes time has been set as a standard, but this may change in the future if people want a shorter time or a longer time for editing these messages. But for now, it is 15 minutes and it is not customizable. You can't change this time to say 30 minutes or 10 minutes. It is set at 15 minutes. So in the messages here, if you want to read a message later on, you can mark it as unread by simply swiping right. And that way you can remember that this is an important message and you want to go back to it later. Sometimes you read a message and you think that you'll go back to it later. This way you can mark it as a unread message. So if I do this and mark the message as an unread message, and then I'll also get my notifications on the home screen as well. Another new added feature is the recently deleted one. So if you do have messages that you've recently deleted, they will stay in the recently deleted one for 30 days. This is great because sometimes you delete important messages unknowingly and you didn't have the ability to bring them back. So just like mail and just like some other features like photos, etc., anything that you have recently deleted will sit here in the recently deleted tab, and then you'll be able to restore them from here as well. So that was a quick look at messages. Another thing that they've added is called visual lookup. So that also you can demonstrate right here in messages. So if you have an image that has a subject, you can tap on it and pull out a few things. So for example, here, I do have some text. So I can long press on this and I can select the text. I can copy it and then say I can paste it back over here. And it'll do a good job of pulling it out. But another feature is if you long press over here, you'll be able to also pull out the image itself. And I can also send that with my text now, because it is black on black, so you won't be able to see it that clearly. But let's try this on a different image. Now that was in messages, but you also have this option across the phone, and in photos you do have a lot more features. So here you can see that we have an image of the new superhero. So I can long press on this and you'll see that it creates this really cool animation and creates an outline automatically from here. Now from here I can directly share and drop into AirDrop or send it to somebody I know. Or I can simply drag and drop and then say I can move into a different app. Say, let's go back to messages. And then I can also put this in the messages here as well. So if you're using a photo editing app or a video editing app, you can completely pull out these things and drag and drop them into your messages. And oops, I sent it to the wrong person. So I can quickly select it and say undo send, and I can delete it from there as well. You have the ability now to select text from a video as well. So that is something that is also really useful. So you can pause a video at any time and pull out the text. So that is also something that I believe people will end up using quite a lot. So previously you could pull out Spotlight by swiping down. You can continue doing that, but there's also a dedicated button for Spotlight. If you look at the bottom where the three dots, usually the multiple dots, not the three dots. So depending on your home screen, you have dots over here. So once the dots disappear, you'll see a search button, and that's your Spotlight button now. And this can be used to do now a universal search. So if I say dogs, so you can see that it does more of a universal search now. So you can see that it will show pictures from my Photos app, as well as some Siri knowledge, along with web images, and then also emails, as well as Siri suggested websites, along with dictionary. So you get a more universal search for Spotlight as well. So that gets upgraded. It'll be useful for a lot of people. Instead of going into Safari and searching for things, you'll get a comprehensive lookup of a subject matter directly here, including going through your phone to pull out those details and those images if they do exist. Another app that's been updated is the Home app. So you can see now, instead of the different rooms, let me quickly show you on my old phone over here, as in the phone on the older OS. So over here, we had to jump between different rooms, and only then could we sort of change between the lights. But in this one, now we can simply scroll up and down and go through all the rooms. Now over here, you also do get a sort of comprehensive breakdown of the kind of categories. So you can see that we have some climate accessories, some lights, along with some security accessories and some speakers. So you can see our cameras can be seen over here, some of the lights over here, some climate controls can be seen over here, and then the rest of the rooms, including their lights, can be seen over here as well. Everything can be controlled from here. What Apple has also said is that they are going to enable Matter integration. So if you do have devices that support the Matter protocol, and they have a whole host of devices that are already supported, they do not need to be now HomeKit enabled devices. If they are designed for Alexa or for Google Home or Google Assistant, they will now start working with Apple HomeKit, and they will start working with the Apple Home app in iOS 16. So that is definitely a big boon to users of iOS as well as to users of other devices, because now devices will be universally compatible thanks to the new Matter protocol. Another thing that has been updated is dictation. If I am in the messaging app again, I can dictate to send messages, which I could do previously, but the keyboard would disappear. Now that won't happen. Here is a message. Quickly, full stop. So you can see I can switch between typing as well as voice dictation anytime. And another feature that is now supported is emojis. So I can say smiley emoji, and it will automatically add that emoji there as well. You can choose any emoji you like: dancing emoji, cucumber emoji. So you can see that you can have any kind of emojis in there, as well as it picks up the text-to-speech quite well. So that was a quick demo of dictation. And now Siri also has a lot of interesting support for these kind of things. And Siri can also send emoji-based messages in the same way that Dictate can. Also, the apps that don't support Siri universally will also support Siri as well as Siri shortcuts. So it doesn't matter what app it is, as long as you download it from the App Store, it'll automatically support Siri shortcuts and Siri capabilities. So that is something that we wish to test out, but for now, we don't have a lot of apps that don't support Siri functionality, so we haven't really been able to do that. So apart from all of this, there are a few additional features that are worth talking about. Let's quickly go into settings over here and go into privacy and security. If you scroll down here, you have something new called Safety Check. Now, this is great for victims of domestic abuse or people who just want to separate their device from a connected device or a connected account. And this is great for managing that really quickly. So you can go into Safety Check and do an emergency reset. It will remove all access for third parties as well as other people. And then you can also manage sharing and access. You can see what kind of information and what kind of people have access to what all activities in your account. So this is great, and it's a great welcome feature, and it'll be useful for a ton of people. And Apple has been one of the first people to do this, and I believe that other companies will follow suit because this is definitely something worth having on a device when a lot of people now have connected accounts. Another feature is in Maps, and now Maps allows multi-stop routing. So you can have up to 15 stops on your way to your location. So let's say I'm heading here, and then I want to add a stop to Khan Market, and then I want to add a stop to Ashoka Hotel, and then I want to add a stop to Maljamarg. So you can see I have a few stops over here. I can move my stops around. And this is my final destination. And I can have up to 15 stops on here. And that is something that we didn't have previously, but you do have now. So that can be useful to have on your device, especially if you use Apple Maps, because they're becoming more and more useful and more accurate in certain cases than Google Maps, especially in India. You also have this new update with some additional cities where you can see certain elements within a city's map will have this really detailed view. So you can visit these monuments and sort of touristy places and they sort of stand out, and then you can view them in a three-dimensional format. And these are really high-end detailed sort of maps that allow you to sort of have a look at it in detail. Of course, you do have Street View over here as well. But what is also interesting is that I can search for San Francisco, and then you also have this flyover option. I can zoom in over here and I can do a sort of flyover of the entire city in more detail. You can visit the bridge as well. That looks nice. Pretty cool. Now finally, if you're not a Apple Watch person, you do have the fitness app now coming to the iPhone as well. And you can see that it will give you those rings that allow you to keep track of your fitness. And then you can also track through the week your rings. So mostly like the fitness app on the Apple Watch, it'll also give you all those goals and awards over here. And then from here, you can also have your fitness shared with a few people. So if you are tracking your fitness journey with, say, an instructor, you can share your fitness with the instructor so they can keep tabs on you, and they can make sure that you're doing what is required to stay fit. So this is just like that, and you can manage your rings over here. And you can see that there is more based on mindfulness over here as well. And just some basic information can be seen in the fitness app. And I'm sure they'll make it a little more detailed in the future. Another important update worth highlighting is in the health app. So in the health app, you can set up medications now. With medications, you can not only set up sort of timed reminders for medications, but there's also a drug with drug reaction. So if that information is available, and once it does get approved from whatever bodies are there in whatever respective governments, that information will also be available. So it'll check the reaction of, say, a type of drug, say a painkiller, with maybe a sleep drug, and if you should take both of this together, or an anti-allergy as well as a vitamin, if those react in a non-recommended way, you will start to get information for that. So you can add the name of a medicine here, say paracetamol, and I can say next. You can say what kind of this it is. You can say capsule, what strength. So I can say 400, and then I can choose milligrams. Strength info. I do have strength information. In case I don't have strength information, I can choose that as well. And then it says, when will you take this? I can say every other day at time, say 6:05 p.m., 1 capsule, and then I can choose the shape of the capsule. So quite detailed over here. So I'll say it's a standard looking paracetamol capsule. I can change the colors of the capsule. That's quite cool. So it can be really customized so that it also helps you remind what your capsule looks like. So say I take this vitamin C supplement, and that has a capsule that looks like this. That way, if I just look at the image, it'll remind me what kind of capsule I have to take. So that's also good for people who can sort of use that information to their advantage. Plus, it also helps you separate out the kind of medication reminders you're setting. Now here, you can also set up reminders. So for example, the actual salt is paracetamol, but if you're taking something, say Dolo is the name of the actual tab, so I can put that here, and autocorrect tries to fix it. And that's it. So when I say done, I can see my medication, my Dolo cap every other day. It'll give me a reminder. Now you can also export the medications list, which is great. So you can share it with somebody. You can tell them that these are the kind of medications you're taking, and then it'll also give you the reaction information if you want. And so all of that will be available here in the health app as well. So in the mail app, we have a few updates here as well. Now it automatically recommends you to add an attachment or a subject if you've missed that. So for example, in this place, I have said that the attachment is enclosed. And another feature is the ability to sort of schedule your email. This is going to be a great feature, and I personally am going to use this a lot. But Once it does roll out, I think people are going to actually love it. So you can schedule it as per some of the suggestions here, or you can set your own date and time as per your requirements. So within 10 seconds of sending the message, I can undo send it. It stays here for about 10 seconds. I can undo send it if I change my mind, and I can cancel it. So here you can see that I have mentioned in the email body that I have attached a document, but I've actually forgotten to attach that document. So if I sort of press send, it will remind me that I had to put in an attachment, but I haven't attached it. That also gives you a little more perspective on your email, and then you can fix it before you send it. So all of these new updates in the Mail app. You also do have some other updates for the iCloud shared photo library, and some additional updates that we are now getting into in more detail. Another update is CarPlay, which we obviously cannot demonstrate because those new cars with the new CarPlay haven't really been announced yet. But what they showed off in their demo as well as their launch video, that looks really good. And if the entire user interface, including the dials, the instrument cluster, and the infotainment will either be overtaken, giving you a custom layout, or it will ship from the factory with a custom layout. We are not sure of that yet, but that looks good nonetheless. Well, that was a sort of detailed look at iOS 16. If you enjoyed that, don't forget to smash the like button. If you'd like us to go through iPadOS as well as macOS in a sort of combined video, we can do that as well. So let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to smash the like button, hit that subscribe button, and share this video with somebody who enjoys using iOS. This has been Bharat. I'll see you guys in the next one.